you when Justin Henry Malloy hit the sack fly to put the Tigers ahead 4-3 after being down most of the game and erasing a 3-run deficit to bring that magic number down to 2.
I was at my desk at work, and I'm gonna send you the photo so we could drop this on our social media. Um, so Adam will know this. Some people may have heard me talk about this in passing. This was a very busy sports day for myself personally, because our Detroit Tigers are the same gritty Tigers. I'm saying the baddest motherfuckers currently to walk the streets of downtown Detroit. Uh, fought and scratched and clawed. They were at 110. So I had that game on. Shout out to my friends, getting ballet for my friends and just watching it on the TV there. Well, one of my work laptops, I had my small laptop fully on that. The sound was going, and it wasn't working. We were trailing, right? And 3 o'clock was, and we were scratching and clawing, and so I would occasionally turn the sound off in the commercials. So then I split screened it for when my German club, Eintracht Frankfurt, had a Europa League match. So I had my work laptop on the right side. You had Eintracht Frankfurt with the sound off for part of that. The Tigers, Colt Keith with that big ass triple, scratching and clawing, tying the game up. I was at my desk. I saw the sack fly. Text messages from other coworkers who have the game on their phones or devices in the office. um, I think of our sales guy and my member in sales who's involved with new business development. He took his daughter to the game today, and I think about all of that in that moment. There was something just like this series, magical. And then Jason Foley turns up. You're like, let's fucking go. Um, I didn't think we were gonna tell you honest with you. I was resigned. My coworkers like, "Are you concerned at 3-0?" And I told them, "Yeah, not yet. No way." I go, "No, we good. Not worried." I was, maybe just a tiny bit like, eyeballing what was going on in DC, seeing what the Royals Nats was doing. Um, but Colt Keith, man, there's somebody else. Jed Tigers UK says it best. This team has become the thing that I dread about, where you have no batting lineup, you have no power, you get out hit 11-3, but you got a couple of guys that can get clutch hits at the big moments and just the massive arms. We've become that team that I've dreaded for 20 years. Let's fucking go.
That's the thing about this team too is they got they have fielding, they have pitching, they have a bullpen, and they have timely hitting. They don't have, a bunch of power per se. They don't have guys that, they don't have like, this isn't like a Tigers team that, we saw in the late 2000s or anything like that, where they just threw guys like Victor Martinez, Miguel Cabrera, Prince Fielder,
Even before that, Maglio Ordonez, Craig
even
Monroe,
before that,
Aquino
yeah,
Polanco, Johnny Peralta, like,
yeah. I mean, it's
Pudge.
not, it's not like that. I mean, they have an incredibly young team, and they have guys right now who are just, I don't know, just too
They're vi
naive. They're
they're
just too
vibing,
naive to know when to quit.
right?
You
Too
know, I
stubborn
mean,
for their own good.
yeah, that's what's great about it is,
And you have a manager and a pitching coach that are
look,
fully seeing that and fully encouraging them to just run with it.
Chris Fetter and AJ Hinch right now are, I heard this brought up the other day. Um, I think it was on like, I hate saying that I was tuning into 97.1 because I think it's an awful station, but
Was this on Tuesday after the game? Because I'm not gonna lie, because, I went to Tuesday's game, and we had just won 2-1 in that one. It was a rain delayed match. delayed
No,
50 minute
no, it
extra
wasn't. No, it wasn't. It was I think it was in the morning, but they were like they
manager
asked
of the
it
year.
they asked an interesting questions because it was like, who would you rather what what assistant has had a bigger impact on their respective teams? Ben Johnson or Chris Fetter? And you sit there, you think about that, you're like, damn,
I got
like
an I already it's
that's
easy
a
for
good
me.
question. Go
It's
ahead.
easy for I was gonna here's why I'm gonna say this. Yes, Ben Johnson has been good, but a lot of games Ben Johnson has been good, but there's also been Lions games that I've been incredibly frustrated with at Ben Johnson stuff. Take a look at what these kids that are coming up from Toledo and the numbers that they had in Toledo before getting called up to the bigs this year, and look and see what they're doing now.
Well, I'm gonna say, in
I
your
feel I'm leaning Feder right now.
I mean, you're absolutely right. I would say Ben Johnson just because of the sample size.
That's
Um,
fair. That's fair.
I mean, this has been a half a season of just straight fire. I mean, it's been incredible what we've seen. Obviously, Ben Johnson has been doing this over a longer period of time, and that's not to take away from because I think Chris Fetter has been very, very good outside of this second half stretch of games.
Right.
But
But I think
I think as far as like sustained consistency, um, I'm gonna go.
Even I think though earlier in the year, yeah, the results weren't getting due to like hitting, but I
Yeah.
look at like what Jack Flair, like how would you have told me we would have gotten that much value for Jack Flaherty at the deadline going into the season just because of the sample size we'd seen from Jack Flaherty the first 8, 9, 10 years in the league, and he was having a career year, a sub 3 ERA. Um, I'm seeing some of these things in the sam in on there too. I
One
think
of the
when
most
you
one of the most important things, I'm sorry to cut you off here just for 1 second, Garrett. One of the
Mhm,
most important things that I think Detroit sports fans need to take into consideration with all of this, though, if you
mhm,
are going to compare the 2, and I wanna preface this by saying that both of them are fucking amazing.
yeah,
Um,
they
the
are their coaches and they're just as important if
Yes, they are
as their
both
heads.
yes, they are both incredible coaches, and I'm not taking anything away from either of them. The
Right.
one thing that I'll say, and perhaps this trumps all of it, is what Ben Johnson has ultimately been able to do for Jared Goff in his career,
Yeah,
and him being able to resurrect that.
yeah,
Because, I
I can
mean,
vibe with that. I can
yeah,
vibe with that.
so, I mean, Jared Goff quarterback of an NFL team, there may not be a more important position on
I will al I will
any
also
sports
argue
team.
too I will also argue too, depending if this defense for the Lions can keep this run going all season, we're gonna need to throw Aaron Glenn in that mix too, because what this defense has done in the first 3 games right now, we'll talk Lions, Seahawks eventually, but what I'm seeing from this defense as far as, like, being the reason for the most part, maybe even in game 1 against Stafford, a big portion as to why they're in games. I'm not concerned about the defense as we've been last year at times on there, but I think if we continue to be that consistency throughout a 17-game season,
Wait, hold on.
especially
Let's hold on. Let's finish
let's
up
go
with the
back to the Tigers.
Tigers.
Let's go back to the Tigers though, but I think it's a great discussion, and I think Chris Vetter is worth its weight in gold. Now let me ask you this, I did hear this discussion. Unless the Royals absolutely shit the bed this weekend against the Braves and the
Mhm.
Twins win out, Kansas City and the Tigers are probably gonna be the last 2 playoff spots. Who
Yes.
who's a stronger manager of the year candidate in the AL? AJ Hinch with what he's doing with this rotation or lack of pitching starting rotation and these bullpen whiz kids and everything like that, and random kid and guys who haven't played in the bigs before batting and putting them in. Yeah, Cleveland, I'm not going to throw into it. Cleveland's had a great year. Or are you going to give Kansas City's manager from taking a 56 win team to almost maybe as a 30 win turnaround for sure and a playoff spot?
It. it
That's
has
a
to it has to be the Tigers. And, if and I hate it, people are gonna say we're biased, whatever. I mean, whatever. I don't care. Garrett, what AJ Hinch is on, and this is the title of this live episode for tonight, is the Tigers
yeah,
are on the verge of history.
yeah,
And what the Tigers are about to do hasn't been done, obviously, since the '73 Mets.
right.
You know what the last team to do what the Tigers are doing this year and what the Mets did back in '73? You know the last time somebody did something before '73?
51 Giants.
No, never, never.
Right, right. Or
What the
that
Tigers
yeah, I was
what
thinking
the
the pay I was thinking that pennant comeback, but that was the
what
more
the
exotic
Tigers
stuff.
are doing right now, where they were in August,
Mhm.
um, were they, 10 games, 8 games?
They were 9. The most that they ever were was 10 games at the end of June, but they were 9 games with 2 basically starting pitchers.
Yep, 9 games out, August, came back and are now a magic number games away of 2 from the postseason.
We're 11 games over 500 now.
11 games over 500, hottest team in baseball in the second half. Like I said, the last time this has happened, when a team was this bad in August, were able to come back, get to the postseason, was the '73 Mets. The last team before the '73 Mets to do this was no team. It has never happened before that. So we're about ready to see just 2 teams in the history of Major League Baseball that goes all the way back to, um,
At least the World Series era in 1903.
yeah, it's crazy, and because of that alone is why AJ Hinch needs to be
Yeah, and I
the
was
the
gonna say,
manager of the year. So,
I argue too when you look at the Mets, I think the Mets were 83 and 79 when they won that
mhm,
division in 1973, and they beat the Reds, and back then it wasn't as many playoff games. They beat the Reds and they took the Oakland A's to 7 games in the World Series. Um, they were 3-2 up in that World Series too, I believe. So when you account for the fact that this team may in the regular season have surpassed the Mets. And also my counterpoint, the Royals, what they did is impressive. Is you do a 30-win turnaround in fucking Major League
oh,
Baseball.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I'm gonna argue, but the offseason, they brought in what, 5, 6 pitchers? The Royals made moves this offseason that we were frustrated that we didn't. Our
yes,
moves was Kenta Maeda, Jack Flaherty, Mark Canha, Gio Urshela, Chafin back. How many of those guys are gone now?
yep,
And granted, Bobby Witt Jr. may win it's gonna be between Bobby Witt Jr. and Aaron Judge probably for the MVP in the AL, I think. Um, but I feel like and people are gonna say, "Well, what about Cleveland? They lost their ace due to Tommy John." They were already a solid, solid side.
yep,
They just really, really and Emmanuel and you have Emmanuel Clase who's doing also stud numbers in the pen. There's only one team that in Major League Baseball right now that could be probably as hot or even as hotter for longer than the Detroit Tigers right now. And you know who I'm going to talk about? It's the San Diego Padres. That's the
yep,
only team. The San Diego to get people like, what the fuck are you talking about? Gee, I've only been watching the Tigers, especially if it's like the casual fans that came back to Comerica Park and didn't realize that everything's cashless now. I love that story. I laughed so fucking hard at that story last night. By the way, anyway, San Diego Padres were 50 and 50 after 100 games. They are what, 27 games over 500, and if they win tonight over the Dodgers, they take the lead in the NL West via tiebreaker going into the
mhm.
final series. I don't want them. That's the only who do you want in the playoffs? I don't want the Padres. That was a great 3-game series that we
Well,
had with them. That was a fun 3-game, but if we continue this and this just becomes the history book, the first ever Majors Detroit docu-series, uh, I I'd
well,
rather
I think
not
I
play
think
the
I think you're
Padres
getting a
again.
little ahead. I think you're getting a little
I
ahead
might
of
be ahead.
you're getting a
Yeah.
little ahead of yourselves considering if we face the Padres, then we're in the World Series. And that's, I mean, I don't know if I'd
On
want
the
to face
40th
a,
anniv on the 40th anniversary of the last time the Tigers was in the World Series against the San Diego
yeah.
Padres.
Yeah, and if this Tigers team were able to make it that far in the postseason, I don't know if I'd want to face this Tigers team at that
Yeah,
point.
very true.
Um, so
Wh
yeah.
I've heard a couple of moments. I've heard we had a couple of chats in our circles. What do you think was the initial spark for this run?
Um, I know what AJ Hinch said was the initial spark, and I agree with him. It was the Williamsport game.
Yeah, I
That's
think
what it
that opened
was.
I think that was the initial cursor.
Mhm.
Um, and then I'm gonna say after that, the series win over the Red Sox, Labor Day weekend in the in the initial and the wild card race. Um, blowing a 5-run lead to the Padres and losing that game, only to be 3-0 down the next night, 2 men on, full count at Petco. Parker Meadows goes oppo grand slam. I turned that game off. I thought we were done. I had Ravens Chiefs on. And then I looked and I was like, we fucking won. We did what? And then Cater Montero throws a shutout against the Rockies on his next start.
Yep.
And then we take 2 out of and then everything happens. This has also been helped by other teams slipping.
Ga
Um,
ga g Garrett, there's been so many different
eh,
instances of this team just, like,
it's lightning in a
pulling
bottle. It's
yeah,
lightning
it
in a bottle.
just pulling after miracle after miracle, just out of their fucking asses. Even today was, like today
Yeah.
shouldn't have happened. Like,
Nope.
today should not have happened. You're down 3-0, and you're still down later in the game, and they just kept on, they're able to manufacture those runs and just come back and just shut the door, and there's no rhyme or reason for it. It's one of those
Fate.
things that are
It's fate.
y- yeah, it's just you don't have any words for it. There's no way to sit there and make sense of it. um it's just it's crazy. It is crazy to think about. We've never seen anything like this in our lifetime before with this
Nope.
team, or it with really anything. Like, I'm trying to think of, like, underdog teams and
In this
um
city?
just almost in any instance,
Mhm.
because I mean the closest thing that we've had to this perhaps maybe was the '06 Tigers. But
That season caught us out of nowhere, though.
yeah,
It
and
was
they
very
were
we got beat on Easter Sunday. Jim Leland said, "We're not gonna beat we stink. We're not gonna play with that lack of effort again," and I'm like, "Yeah, what the fuck ever. We've seen this." And then he was right.
yeah, and the Tigers in that year, they did that over, they were able to do that over the stretch of the season, and they clinched, and then
They
they
blew
kind
the
of
division.
yeah, and then they faltered down the stretch, and then they lost the division league, had to settle for the wild card. But even then, that was just the magic in that sense happened in the postseason when
Yeah,
everybody thought that they were going to get steamrolled by the Yankees. That didn't happen. Um, and them being 3 years out of losing.
119.
Yeah. So I mean that's the only instance that I can think of. Other than that, Lions, maybe that's maybe closer to it. Lions a couple years ago when they were able to turn it on the second half of the season, take
Yeah.
it down to that final game, but they just still didn't make the playoffs that year. But that kind of ushered in this new era that we're seeing with the team right now. And I
Right.
guess more recently, I mean, people are gonna be like, "Oh, it's soccer. Who gives a shit?" Maybe that 2022 Detroit City team.
And oh, the USL Championship side that we thought was gonna suck because it was our first year, and then,
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
I think it helped that we fate benefited us then because of the level of competition below us meant it's kinda like, dare I say, the here's a good comparison. Detroit City FC's 2022 USL Championship Eastern Conference had multiple versions of this year's Chicago White Sox team to take points on and boost your standings up.
yeah.
Uh, and that's a good way about this weekend because as it stands right now, the Miami Marlins lead 1-0 over the Minnesota Twins.
And
That happened.
they just got Twins had 2 men on, runner on third. They had a comebacker to the pitcher and were able to get the guy out at home. So
So
it's still 1-0 Marlins.
if, if the Marlins win, the magical number is one.
Magic number goes down to 1. Yeah.
And I am torn because I do not wanna really go, "What up, Jeremy Churchman?" popping into the chat. If, I don't really wanna go on a City Connect day, but I might look at that $30 standing room seat and might go. Because here's another fun fucked up stat about tomorrow. If there's 2 things that could happen. 1, the Magic 20 losses.
That's
Going into tomorrow. So if the magic number is 1, folks, the Detroit Tigers create history 2 ways: clinching a playoff berth, ending a 10-year drought, and being the team in the record books that gives the Chicago White Sox lost 121, thus befitting them at the top of the mantle of the worst MLB team in the World Series era. The
you know what?
1962 Mets, any of them that are alive can have a glass of champagne because they're not the benchmark anymore.
You know what's wild, Garrett, and I don't know if you remember this or not. If you don't, then I'm kinda shocked because,
Yeah.
um, you and I had this conversation a few weeks ago. We were talking about,
Mhm.
what if the Tigers are the ones that are able to hand the
Give that
White
history.
Sox. Yes.
Oh, with Jason Benetti on the call, the
With
team
Jason
that
Benetti
lose
on the call. Yes.
because Fox said, "You are not we're taking you off college football. You're staying home this weekend. Cover
Oh
the
my god.
series."
Oh my god. It's weird, and, Jeremy Churchman just mentioned this in the chat too. How insane is it that the White Sox are the second hottest team right now? LOL. You know what? That's what it had to take though to get to this point.
God
The
damn it.
White Sox had to get hot in a sense if the Tigers are going to have the chance to help contribute to that, to baseball history in that sense.
Son of a bitch,
So
I think I'm going tomorrow night. Oh.
yeah, it's crazy, and then the Marlins just doubled. They have a runner on second, 1 out, top of the 4th, they still lead 1-0. So,
Shout
um,
out to I gotta give a shout out because my Hey Eintracht Frankfurt contributor John Ben's in Delaware. For some odd god awful reason, he's a Miami Marlins fan. I have never been prouder of the Finns in my entire. Then Tuesday night. What up,
I'm a
buddy?
huge I'm a huge Marlins fan right now, huge Marlins fan right now.
That's Adam's next hat. I mean, Neil. I
I
don't know if
actually
you do you have a Marlins hat or do you have an
I
old school
have
Marlins
I
hat?
have I have an old school Marlins hat. Well, it was a Florida Marlins hat at the time that
Black or black or turquoise or teal?
turquoise.
Oh shit.
My grandma got it for me when the Marlins um, first became a team. Um, yeah, so I have it doesn't fit anymore because I was probably like 8 when I got it, but yeah, I do still have it. I do still
Oh,
have it.
oh my god, that's awesome.
We should
Yeah,
probably we should probably switch gears though to the Lions because I know we only want to go for a half hour. And we're only 25 minutes into it now.
Monday's about to be a special day at Ford Field, Monday Night Football on ABC and ESPN Plus. So don't go to ESPN for it because there's 2 Monday Night Football games. ESPN's got the first Monday night game at 7:30. Go to your ABC or ESPN Plus for Seahawks Lions Monday night. So that's your PSA for
So
anyone saying.
stupid. It's so
But
stupid.
we were going to be on ABC anyway because that's what they usually do for our local area Monday night games.
I
Uh,
know, it's just dumb that there's 2 Monday night games, though. That's
yeah.
stupid.
Um, you know, it's not stupid though. Debut of those black uniforms.
Hey,
Uh, it
they look
is
good. They look
they
good.
those helmets pop. It is a looks like any uniform sucker sickos like us. It's a great uniform matchup. Seahawks Lions, especially if the Seahawks combo is what it is. Um, Lions are a bit banged up. Looks like some good news. Alex Anzalone, who was out last week due to concussion, full practice, been there as of today, even too. You got a handful of guys on the questionable. I haven't seen the full on list today. So
Frank Ragnow, Campbell confirmed that Ragnow will be out, Monday night with the
yeah.
torn pec, which is good.
Um,
He should be out.
Barnes out for a little bit by the looks of it. And then what about any? I think who else we have on protocols? We had Branch on concussion protocol. Laporta with the ankle. Levi. We had a handful of people.
Or we'll know
Oh, Ali
tomorrow.
McNeil too. Ali McNeil also. So
Yeah, and we'll know tomorrow more what's up, when that final, when we find out who practices tomorrow night. So, yeah,
when's
I
the
mean, there
when's the last time we beat Seattle? 2012.
oh my god, I can't remember.
It was the day of game. That one was on the day of Game 4 of the World Series that we lost to, because that was. I got into downtown just as everybody was walking out of Ford Field to go to Comerica, so I remember that. Um, I think that's it. I could be wrong. Lion Sickos in the chat. Look up when the Lions last time beat the Seahawks. Please and thank you for statistical
I
research.
mean, the thing is that, I mean, yeah, Lions are a little banged up right now. So is basically every other team in the NFL.
Bingo.
I think I want to say that the Seahawks are going to be rolling with a backup tackle going up against, um, Hutchinson again. So again, it's just this is shit that every team deals with. Nobody's going to feel sorry for the Lions. Nobody should feel sorry for the Lions. Nobody should feel sorry for any team in the NFL that is currently dealing with injuries, because that's every team in the NFL right now. Every team in the
Yeah.
NFL is dealing with injuries. Um, Lions are still a better team. Again, this is a team that should be going to the Super Bowl this year. It's a team that could be winning the Super Bowl this year. Um,
Damn right.
Other than that, we still have, you know, plenty of other guys that are going to be able to make an impact. You know what? If it's me, if I'm Dan Campbell, yeah, I'm definitely putting Frank Ragnow on the shelf. I'm probably putting Sam Laporta on the shelf as well, um, which he very well may be. I didn't see the injury report today, but you have some of these guys when you're talking Ragnow, when you're talking Laporta, these guys are going to be much more valuable to you in December than they are right now.
Yep.
And that's when you're really going to need them, is then. Not some
Allen Robinson added by the Lions today. You got
yes.
Tim Patrick. You got some other core guys. Amon-Ra is clicking again. JMO's clicking. Um, Here's my thought for Monday. You utilize Montgomery and Gibbs, you win this football game.
Mhm.
Plain and simple. We got 185 yards against the Cardinals. I still didn't think we utilized them yet fully. It was a lot better than what we have seen, but um, power and um, horsepower and straight up speed, whatever you want to fucking come up with that. So give me that. Montgomery and Gibbs get the ball. Lions win. Um, are we? Your opinion? Are we 3-1 going into the break?
Yes. Yes,
Agreed.
absolutely.
Same.
Absolutely.
Um, Last year I think the guys are going to be pissed off with how they lost to Seattle in the home opener last year. I think this is it. You and I talk about. I think another thing that I think about this Lions is it's like us, which is like a lot of Detroit sports fans. They're petty, so they want to make amends. I think they
Well,
make amends.
they don't have those stupid blue masks to have to deal with this year, so
No. Also, shout out to Kirby Joseph. Getting some cred, getting some recognition deserved. The dude's a baller. The dude's He's my Lion. Has so many quality Lions games this last year or two have been because of Kirby Joseph. Lions go 3-1. That's how I'm saying it. Oh, and you want to think that how this week's going to be even more? Lions on Monday night, provided Tigers wrap things up. Game one of their wild card series the next day. So strap yourselves in, folks. This is becoming wild. Real quick, Detroit Red Wings opened up preseason yesterday, 4-2 win over the Blackhawks. I'm going to commend really one thing I wanted to talk about. Lucas Raymond takes, I think, almost a borderline knee-to-knee during the game yesterday. And then you see a group of players looking and seeing that, marking that guy for the Blackhawks and coming at him like sharks, including our captain, Dylan Larkin, seeing him and then laying that guy the fuck out. This is the first game of preseason, and if you're seeing your captain who's had issues before with hits and injuries and all this situation, and if you're seeing this camaraderie and teams playing for each other now, just wait till October 10th when the regular season opens up and the Pens come into LCA. I'm fucking pumped. What about you?
Yeah, always pumped for hockey. Can't wait to SWAT. Can't wait. Yeah, it's a good sign too. Yesterday coming, because it's seems like that's always been something that has, kind of upset some fans when it came to the Red Wings. Is not enough. Not so much not standing up for your team, but just making the other team pay, making the other team, kind of look over their shoulder a little bit when you take
Receipts.
runs at yeah. So, I mean, other than that, it was cool. It just sucked that it was on, the only way you get you yesterday is online.
There
But
was
yeah,
so
it's
much to watch last night for me. I was like, this was like, it was important, but it was like third or fourth of my radar last
yeah.
night.
I mean, like there's a lot going on right now. There's a
Mhm.
lot going on right now when it comes to Detroit sports and just sports in general. But
Yeah.
especially here in this city, though. I mean, obviously we got Tigers and Lions and City, and now you've got the Red Wings and Pistons getting ready to start. You had the Red Wings starting their preseason last night. So yeah, and then
Base
Raymond getting a goal last night. I think what was it Petrie getting a goal. Tyler Mott got a goal.
Yeah. I forget who got the
So
last one. Mata? Mata got one? Mata made it 4-2.
yes, yeah, yeah. Ali Mott got the other one. So
Sebastian Coso looking good in training, getting 2 periods, which is a great sign for the Grand Rapids thing, and especially if a situation comes up, despite us having 3 goalies um, ahead of him. Yeah, I mean, we got 7 more games of preseason. We got 2 weeks till the start of the season. Keep the momentum going, keep the guys healthy, and yeah, like I said, I feel I'm motivated. I'm fired up. As I this is probably like last year I was fired up. This year I'm fucking fired up for the start of the season. Let's go.
yep,
Real quick, Detroit Pistons had their big community event that they did downtown. Was it yesterday that they did the event? Kate Cunningham,
I
Big Shot.
I
Uh,
don't. Is
reason
that
why
when they released the StockX patch?
StockX patch is still better than the Priority Waste kit sponsorship on the Wednesday, and Big Sean also decided to unveil before the team officially announced the new City Edition uniforms. The believe from what I'm seeing based off of court graphics and otherwise, the cream version, it's a off-white cream Bad Boys influenced jersey based off the opposite of what last year's was. Kate Cunningham was basically saying like, "Hey, the Tigers and the Lions is great to see him motivated. This is motivating us. I feel like we could be next in line. It's on you guys. I'm not like I said. I'm not expecting playoffs. Anything double your win total from last year and above is a step in the right direction.
Yep,
So go for it on there. End of October is when that season starts for the Detroit Pistons. We'll talk about that eventually. Some of this other shit that we love will eventually fade in so we can fill them in. Lastly, Detroit City, Les Rouge, DCFC, all that you want to say, everything you want to acronym them as. A trip to Seaside, California this weekend, Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern. Stay up, folks. It's gonna suck. Monterey Bay FC, who while they are a couple points out of the playoff race in the Western Conference, 24 goals scored in 29 games played. Adam, I believe they're still at 29 games played, if I recall from our 451 talk earlier this week. Uh, a game that's 0-0 at Seaside 2 years ago. Detroit City won 1-0 last year via an own goal, but we're in control of that match. A matchup that sees James Murphy return to take on his former club, and Carlos Saldana in a match that will have some family in town. Does the Detroit City unbeaten run extend to 5 matches?
Yes, and I think I gotta get that Tunnel Talk episode out. Um, I think I said 2-0 on Tunnel Talk.
All of us were
Um,
it was a consensus 2-0 from yourself, Alan, and I on Tuesday night when we recorded. So, um, they do that. City's won 3 in a row, unbeaten in their last 5,
and Jaime
and
took forever to upload it too, so.
not surprised one bit. Um, who are your goal scorers? Because I think I know who I said for mine.
Did I say,
You said Maxi, I think.
I think I said Maxi and Kisiadu.
I think I said Murphy and Morris.
Yeah.
Um,
So,
I think Saldana, Carlos Saldana will get the call in net. If I were to guess, I wouldn't say don't. I would say if I were to guess when Nate Steinwasser pops back in the net in the regular season, it would be this home finale this season against Miami, October 19th. That would be my guess.
Swan Song?
Maybe. He's got it's another year in the deal, but maybe for the end of this regular season, or maybe that in San Antonio, depending on where we're at in the table. 10 p.m. Eastern, Saturday night. I'm gonna be tired on that one, but bring it on. Big matchup for Detroit City as they're getting towards the stretch, the final run of the regular season, and where they might wind up in the playoff race. Um, Are we missing anything else? Or you think we've covered it all?
No, I think that's it. I think that's it. I think we covered everything.
Detroit.themajorsearch.com for all of your Majors Detroit and Channel 451 content. On Twitter at TMSNX Detroit. 451 is at 451BET. You can also do the old fashioned way at 451BET at gmail.com. Adam is on Twitter at TMSNX Adam. I am online, GM Comats. And for all that have checked this out, be sure to also hit that like and subscribe button to both channels if you haven't already. Uh, for Adam over there, Garrett over here, thank you all for taking the time. These Tigers are on a run of a lifetime. Take it in, breathe it in, enjoy it. Lions are going 3-1 Monday, debuting those Blacks. And yeah, until next time, see ya.
See ya.